EmperorGreymon and Red Hybrid is back again to take out all your opponent's security and they won't even see it coming. Digimon fans, welcome back, and today we'll be showcasing the brand new EmperorGreymon and Red Hybrid deck. The new cards we got from the BT12 Across Time set makes this deck super consistent and even more explosive than it used to be. The new EmperorGreymon is super cool, and thanks to the older Takuya, you can get into it easily with the Unified Spirit Digivolution. There are many different small and big combos you can pull off to take out your opponent's security quickly with this deck, and I'll be showing you guys all these combos later on as well. But let's start off with the deck profile first. Starting with our Digi Egg cards, which is a little bit unusual, we're actually playing the Yokomon from BT11, and it has a on deletion. While you have a red tamer in play, you get to draw one card with its inheritable. It comes a lot of synergy with our deck overall because we're going to have a lot of on deletion effects going on, which is kind of strange for a red deck, but you guys will understand it as we talk about and look into more rookies and our combos later as well. But 4 copies of this is really all you need. Just to let you guys know, I actually posted the deck list on the Avault Club membership already. So if you guys want to see early exclusive community posts that includes my first draft deck profiles and constant updates, then be sure to join right now by clicking on the join button. I'll also leave links with the icon on the top right and in the description box down below. Also, if you haven't done so yet, be sure to like and subscribe as it really helps the channel, and thank you guys so much for the support. Okay, so now let's talk about our rookies. Starting first and foremost, we got the 4 copies of this brand new Flamemon from BT12. Is on play, trashing 1 Digimon card with Hybrid in its traits. You get to draw 2 cards. Being able to give you that draw power is going to be very nice, and setting up a potential Hybrid in your trash is going to be very helpful as well for later combos too. It has an inheritable of while this Digimon has Hybrid or 10 warriors in its traits, it gains extra 2000 DP, which is going to be helpful as well to make sure that you can ensure to swing into security safely with a lot of damage in terms of power, and especially when you're doing multiple checks with your combos too. So 4 is definitely a must for this one. Next, I am running 3 copies of the older one from BT7. This one is on play, searching the top 4, grabbing yourself a Hybridness traits, Susano, or a Takuya among them to your hand. And I definitely like this one a little bit as my secondary searcher because I can just potentially, guarantee myself 1 card, and especially being able to grab myself a Takuya is going to be crucial because seeing Takuya is really important for this deck. And not to mention, it has a inheritable of on deletion, letting you play a Takuya from your hand without paying its memory cost, and this inheritable is going to come in very nicely with our mini combos, which I'll show you guys as well later on too. Right here then, I'm also running 2 copies of the older BT4 Flamemon. This one searches top 3, and then you get to add 1 Digimon with Hybrid in its traits form, and also 1 red tamer, so you can potentially get 2 hits, which is really nice. But like I mentioned before, I kind of like to prioritize the BT7 one a little bit more because there's a bit more synergy with your combos and versatility when it comes to that, which is why I decided to play a lower count for this one. And not to worry, I'm going to explain to you guys why I'm not maximizing these guys at 4, which we'll talk about more as we get into our other rookies too. Then for the other Flamemon, I like to play 2 copies of this one with the inheritable. It simply just gives your Hybrid or your 10 warriors piercing. That's really all it does. It does come in handy every now and then. I would even argue it's just a one-of is good enough because you don't really always need to pierce. You're really just trying to go for security for game most of the times, and I'm actually still debating whether I should switch out of this or just play as a one-of, whatnot. But just based on your personal preference, go with whatever you prefer. But I think a 2-of is a pretty good standard for the time being. Because we're going to make more room for other rookies, we're playing 2 copies of Nemon right here. Nemon is going to make a comeback. It has a very interesting effect because it lets you play a tamer with a inherited effect from your hand for free when you on-play this guy. It also has all turns once per turn. When one of your Digimon with a tamer card in its Digivolution sources is deleted, you get to play a tamer card back from your trash. Essentially, you can play that same one or you can play a different one and be a bit more versatile with this Nemon, which is going to be really important because setting up your tamers and your Takuya as soon as possible is super crucial in this deck, which I feel, and through playtesting, which is why I decided to go for this Nemon in my current most updated version. And alongside with Nemon, we play 1 copy of Bokomon. That's because we have such great searching with this guy. Being able to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, potentially getting 2 hits very likely, is always very nice. And then when you Digivolve on top of Tamer, you get to gain that 2 memory back essentially for free, is gonna give you a lot of value for sure, and you can play super aggressive. And the only reason why I decided to play one of at the moment is just because I feel like a lot of Nemons and Bokomons at the moment, they get easily removed in the current meta. There's so many ways for your opponents just to get rid of it, and they really don't give you that second long-term value as much. Therefore, I feel like Nemon is a little bit more valuable for me instantly, just because I can play a free tamer via that effect, and this is why I'm going for this current ratio, and this is why I'm also going lower on the Flamemon count at the moment. But so far, it has worked out for me very nicely here. That's it for all of our rookies. Let's go into our level 4s. Let's talk about the brand new Agunimon right here. It can Digivolve for 2 on top of a regular level 3 Red Digimon, or you can Digivolve for 1 on top of a Burning Greymon, kind of doing like its slide Digivolution, which is kind of cool. And other than that, it can also Digivolve on top of a Takuya for as if it was a level 3 Red Digimon for the 2 cost. So basically just like what almost Hybrid does in this one, but it's just more specific. It has an on deletion effect, letting you play one Flamemon from your hand, suspend it without paying its memory cost. So you can cycle a bit more Flamemons, which is very, very nice. Really good synergy with any of your other on deletion effects, which again will showcase to you the value in sort of the small combos, which we get to talk about. And it has an inheritable of on deletion, letting you play a Takuya from your hand without paying memory cost. So this Agunimon is really all about cycling your resources, making sure you have a consistent flow of your tamers and your Flamemon, which is going to be really, really important and really good. Next up, we got 4 copies of the brand new Burning Greymon, Digivolving for 3 on top of a regular Red level 3. Otherwise, you can Digivolve for 1 on top of a Agunimon specifically. You can also Digivolve this on top of a Takuya for 2 costs, just like what the Agunimon does specifically, which is also really nice. So you can go for the Hybrid for game or Hybrid attacks. And then when Digivolving, this Digimon gets extra 2000 DP for the turn. While your Digimon has a Hybrid or 10 warriors in its traits, it also gets extra 2000 DP for the turn with its inheritable. So this Burning Greymon is really focused on gaining more DP. It's going to synergize and going to help you reach some very specific DP numbers that you need to pull off some combos, which is actually much more important than you think. And this guy can actually sometimes single-handedly finish games really, really quickly and have a lot of early game pressure, which is going to be really crucial, which again, I'll show you guys later. So definitely a 4 of, in my opinion, too. For the other level 4, we still play the 4 copies of the older Burning Greymon from BT7, letting you Digivolve for 3 on top of a Red level 3, but you can Digivolve for 1 on top of any level 4 Red, which is going to be nice, kind of like the slide Digivolution mechanic as well. And then you can still also Digivolve on top of a Red Tamer for the 2 cost. And then when Digivolving, if this card has Hybrid in its traits or Takuya underneath it, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4000 DP or less. This is like your main source of removal. This is going to help you get rid of smaller stuff. Ideally, it's going to be like Floodgate rookies or anything like basically that might be a hindrance to you when you need to sort of like gain memory plays or whatnot, and stop small blockers too. And yeah, 4 copies is also a very, very good one for this deck. That's it for the level 4s. Let's talk about our level 5s, where we have simply the 4 copies of the BT7 Automon. Very, very simple with its effect. You can Digivolve for 3 on top of regular level 4 that's Red, but then you can Digivolve for 1 on top of a Digimon that is level 4 that has a tamer underneath it, reducing the cost by 2 effectively, making it a 1 cost Digivolve, and then you get extra 4000 DP for when Digivolving for the turn. Buffing it all up the way to 12,000 DP is essentially almost like a level 6 instantly, and it's kind of arguably like your sort of main boss Digimon of the deck, because you can immediately swing with this guy, do lots of checks with all the inheritable and combos, which is always going to be super crucial and really, really nice. And you can just basically, yeah, win out of nowhere with this card. And definitely, I think playing at least 3 is definitely my recommendation. And also with its inheritable, it combos very nicely with your other stuff later on, because it provides you basically a built-in ADP with no options activating during your turn, as long as it has Hybrid or 10 warriors in its traits. You guys play Ancient Grey before, you guys would know this is like the best card to have in that particular deck. Same idea and same concept for this particular version as well. So yeah, this is why I'm running for at the moment, to see it as much as I can. That's it for our level 5s. Let's talk about our level 6s right here. We have 3 copies of the brand new EmperorGreymon. Very, very memory efficient because it Digivolves for 3 on top of level Red 5. Security +1, 11,000 DP, but don't worry about its low DP count because you have a lot of inheritables that racks you up for extra DP, so it's going to be super strong anyways. When Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less. If this Digimon has a Red Tamer in its Digivolution cards, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP that is less than or equal to this Digimon instead. So, which is why, again, racking up more DP buffs and inheritables is going to be super good for this guy. And it has it on deletion, letting you play a Takuya from your hand or trash for free, which gives you a bit of psychability. But yeah, this is like sort of your main boss Digimon of the deck, which you go into when you really need to for the removal and then extra checks and whatnot. And yeah, really cool card for sure. Then I'm playing 2 copies of the older EmperorGreymon. I still like this one a lot because it has Blitz. Even though it costs 1 more memory to Digivolve, you have to pay 4. Being able to blitz and swing in and do checks and pressure your opponent with his secondary effect, because your turn once per turn when this Digimon is blocked, you get to unsuspend it and gain 1 memory for each Digivolution card in this Digimon that has Hybrid in its trait. So you can gain a lot of memory with this guy, and yeah, a lot of pressure, and then you can retain your turn and make even more plays is what this guy is all about. And yeah, definitely very clutch card that you want to be seeing in specific scenarios and situations, and really super strong card. And personally, I prefer this artwork over the newer one too anyways. Last but not least, for all the Digimon, just 1 Blitz Omni for the game, you know, just 1, which comes in handy every now and time. Sometimes I feel like this deck is lacking the final push. It's really good at clearing out your opponent's security super quickly, but you just want that final push to quickly finish the game immediately, which I find is kind of a bit of its weakness and some of its gaps at the current stage, which is why I decided to play in a extra Omni here. If not, I want to play even 2 copies just to see a bit more consistently, but it's been hard to find room in this deck overall. Therefore, I definitely recommend at least 1 of for sure for your game plan in this deck too. That's it for all of our Digimon. Let's talk about our Tamers. It's going to be very simple because everything is going to be all about Takuya, but let's talk about the brand new Takuya from BT12 first. This one is a 4 cost, but it is a memory tamer. Security effect lets you play it for free. Start of your turn, if you have 2 or less, putting you to 3. And it has a very simple inheritable of your turn. This Digimon gets extra 2000 DP. While this Digimon has 10,000 or more DP, it also gains this additional effect of your turn once per turn. When this Digimon checks an opponent's security, you get to gain 2 memory. So being able to gain that memory is going to be really nice, because you can make more plays as per usual, and itself being a memory tamer is basically what the deck really needed, and having a lot of synergy is absolutely fantastic, and lots of cool combos I want to show you guys later on with it too, for sure. Then we got another Takuya. We got the older one from BT7. This one's the slightly cheaper one. This one only costs 3 to play, and it has one of the most cool unique effects. Just like any other tamer, it has the security letting you to play for free, and then main, once per turn, you get to place 5 cards with hybrids in their traits from your trash under this tamer in any order, and then you can potentially digivolve it into EmperorGreymon from your hand for its regular digivolution cost, as if this tamer was treated as at level 5. So being able to have a lot of like on deletion effects is going to give you value in the early game, and then once you rack them up in your trash with all your different hybrids, you can stack up a bunch of them, get into your Emperor Grey immediately, and sort of warp that way. Is just really cool with this guy's effect. It gives you an inheritable as well. Of your turn, this Digimon gets extra 2000 DP, and if it has over 10,000 DP, gains security +1, so it gives you that aggression that you need to. And of course, both Takuyas you want to be seeing as often as you can for both games. The more you see, the more value it is for you overall, and the more plays you can make. And yeah, just a really crucial card for the deck for sure. That's it for all of our tamers. Let's get into our options right here. Definitely 4 copies of Atomic Inferno. It's just super crucial. Just for 1 cost, your Digimon with hybrid in its traits gets extra 3000 DP and security +1 for the turn, and your turn when this Digimon is blocked, you get to gain 3 memory for that turn. Again, pressuring your opponent really hard. If they have any blockers, it's just going to make them very difficult to play around with, and they can't just really stop you easily, and you can just make so many checks with this card. And with its security effect, allows you to give all your Digimon security +1 until the end of your next turn, so you can basically just go super crazy with it. And you want to see this as often as you can, whether it comes out for free from security so that you can go aggressive your next turn, or whether you play it by your hand. Both value of this card is just incredibly good, because it can actually potentially help you finish games in some situations that you never ever expect, and even your opponents don't expect it coming to. Then, last but not least, I like to play 2 copies of Gravity Crush. I mentioned like memory is going to be kind of important. Gravity Crush lets you play a little bit more during your turn, and then you can go for that really explosive turn, which again, I'll show you guys what it's like when you have like all the combo pieces together. But gaining that 2 memory is like kind of like just, yeah, ultra value for 0 cost. And then obviously at the end of the turn, you lose 2 memory, but you usually play this card when you're about to end games essentially anyways. So yeah, at least a 2 of is my recommendation. Okay, that's it for our 50 card main deck. Now let's talk about several cards that you guys can also play in the deck based on your own personal preference, which we didn't get a chance to showcase throughout in the main deck. And the first one would definitely be this Altamon right here. Some of you guys might be wondering, why don't we play this at all, and what its usage really is. Let's talk about its usage first. It costs 3 to digivolve on top of red level 4. It has a very interesting hand main effect, because by placing one Agunimon and one Burning Greymon from your trash under one of your Takuyas in any order, you can digivolve it on top of that Takuya as if the Takuya was a level 4. And then it has a on deletion, returns a Takuya from your trash back to your hand. So pretty interesting. The main thing is that you're going to require 3 memory, meaning that you want to be seeing this combo alongside with your memory Takuya in order to really effectively and efficiently pull it off. It has a nice on deletion effect, but I feel like a lot of the situations when I'm using that on deletion effects, it's kind of a bit too late already. You know, like having the cards set up in the trash early in that specific situation is really good card to play 100%, and you can do a lot of checks and pressure really quickly with it as well. Now the only downside is that I kind of prefer the BT7 way more compared to this one overall, just because it has stronger DP and it has a inheritable that provides it, whereas this one does not. But if you guys really want to run this card, I would just recommend it as a one-off copy for the deck, which, because personally it hasn't done too much for me, and I never really found the situation I really needed to play it and felt like it was very advantageous overall. But yeah, that's it for there. And then for the other Altamon that I want to quickly talk about is the BT41, the older one. I would even argue that this one's a little bit better, simply because it just has security +1, and also your turn when this Digimon's Digivolution sources includes a Digimon with hybrid or a red tamer card, you get extra 4000 DP, making it 11, and you can always like have good, like reliable early game checks with this guy. So yeah, that's another preference you guys can definitely have for sure if you would like. For another tamers, we only play 8 tamers in the main deck usually, and some of you guys might want to be playing more tamers in the deck just to see them more frequently, so you can go for hybrid plays. And my best recommendation here is really the Tai and Kari from BT9, because this one gives you lots of memory when you have 3 or fewer security, and then if your opponent has 3 or fewer security as well, you get to gain another memory. So being able to potentially gain 2 is definitely nice, and the whole game plan of this deck overall chips away your opponents fairly quickly, and so that you can set that up, and to gain that extra memory, put yourself at the threshold of 4 memory alongside with a memory tamer gives you an opportunity to make 2 swings with your hybrid is going to be really nice. And it also can lower your opponent's security by 2000 DP when you attack with it by suspending them as well, which also increase the chances of your survivability for some of your crucial boss Digimons that you're trying to go over, which is kind of nice to have. But overall, the main reason I didn't play this card specifically is there's not enough time to actually play this card in the early stages of the game, and having to hard slam it for 4 cost is not fast enough. You know, the only best timing when this card comes out is really from security for free, which can give you a lot of advantages for sure. But yeah, the only downside is you focus mainly on playing your Takuyas in the early stages. You don't really, again, have time to be playing this because Takuya is your main priority before these guys, which definitely slows it down, and that's the only downside. Last but not least, if you guys don't like Gravity Crush, feel free to play Red Memory Boost instead. It does very similar. It's effectively the same thing. Really great early game card for more searching. If you want to do more searching consistency, definitely a really good red staple. The only reason why I prefer Gravity Crush over Red Memory Boost in this current build and the version at the moment is only because Gravity Crush kind of has a surprise element. Your opponent can't expect it seeing coming when you play it from your hand as much. Whereas you have Red Memory Boost on the board, they know that you can potentially gain 2 memory. They can see your plays and foresee it way more effectively than Gravity Crush, so they can play around it to sort of prevent you from attacking. But there's a lot of times just playing Gravity Crush straight from the hand, you just catch your opponents off guard and they didn't play around it and they don't think about it, and you can just easily gain that 2 memory, and then you basically steal games that way. So that's basically the main debate of Gravity Crush versus Red Memory Boost in this particular deck and build. So really up to you guys when it comes to personal preference as well. Okay, that's it for all the cards I want to talk about. Let's show you guys all the mini combos and the big stack combos that you can be playing this deck. There's actually a lot of combos for this deck, which is going to be super fun. Of course, you're always going to be hatching your egg, and you're going to be digivolving into any of these Flamemons that have inheritable, which is nice. Ideally, it's going to be your piercing one for the most cases, because these guys do have on-play effects for either draw power and searching. This one is kind of like a no-brainer if you can just hard play it and just search, unless you really don't have any other preferences. Playing Neemon in your early stages is really crucial if you see it, especially if you have Takuyas. You need to set up your Takuyas as soon as possible. The sooner you see it, the more value it is for you. The more you have, the even better. You can have multiple copies and whatnot. But anyways, let's show you guys like sort of the on deletion stack combo. If you digivolve into this Flamemon, it's not bad either, because you can digivolve it into this Agunimon right here, and you basically racked up 3 different kinds of on deletion effects. So the first combo is to quickly go into Aguni right here, and you swing at your opponent's security, and you don't need to think twice about it. Your rookies, just swing with them mostly. Neemon, if it can stick on board, then let it stick on board. If not, if you feel like it's going to be under in fret, swing with it as well, rather than trying to be greedy with its second effect. Anyways, when you swing with a Gunimon, if it does get deleted, it's only 5000 DP, which is kind of likely. On deletion, from top to bottom, it lets you play a Flamemon from your hand suspended for free, so you can play for this one, trashing any sort of hybrids that you have. So trashing from your hand is nice to draw too, because you can set up hybrids for trash for later on for this particular Takuya from BT7, so they can make a really cool warp play. Anyways, and then on deletion lets you play one of the Takuyas for free, so play whichever you have. Make sure you have Takuyas to sort of get the maximum value off this card effect, and then Yokomon's going to draw one as well. Ideally, keep in mind, draw one first is more better, because if you draw the card first, you can then decide and see if you have a Takuya or a Flamemon in play, so it gives you a bit more variety of choices. So always make sure, again, draw first with Yokomon. If you feel like you want to go a little bit higher with it, you can obviously digivolve it into any of the Burning Grays for sort of 1 cost. That way you get another on deletion effect here racked up if your Burning Gray ever gets deleted. Although it's kind of unlikely, because your Burning Gray is pretty super strong. You know, it's going to be like 8000 DP, so it can survive quite likely. But if it does get deleted, you get to resolve 1 more on deletion effect to play another Takuya. So go for it. If you see it, do that as well. But that's basically for the first mini combo right here. Let's quickly show you guys the Burning Gray combo, which we talked about. So there's 2 Burning Gray combos, and all you have is either one of these Takuyas, because if you simply digivolve it for 2 and you can retain your turn, your Burning Greymon is going to gain extra 2k for the turn. Takuya is going to give it another extra 2k, so it's going to hit the 10k threshold, which is going to be super important with this guy right here, and immediately can just swing 2 checks with it and not to worry at all. Same idea with this one. You digivolve for 2 on top of it, you get 2k for Burning Gray's effect, you get another 2k with Takuya's effect, making sure that you get that 10k threshold, and now you can swing at your opponent's security and you can gain 2 memory back as well. In any of these times, this is when you really need to capitalize off of the situation. If you have Atomic Inferno, came out in security, evaluate the situation to see if it's worth it to go for this combo right away to swing for lots of checks. Because if you do, you basically put your opponents down to 0 security and you're basically rolling, and all you have to worry about is how to finish the game off afterwards. Because like I mentioned, you're going to be chipping away with your rookies in the early stages of the game as well. But otherwise, if you have more memory to work with as well, play your Atomic Infernos to buff up your Burning Greymon as well. I really like this combo right here with this older Takuya, because when you play Atomic Inferno, you can sometimes go even stronger with another one, and if your opponent ever tries to block it, you gain like 6 memory from it. Otherwise, you'd be checking in for like 4 checks with lots of DP as well, and only options can really get rid of it overall. So if your opponent, depending on your matchup, if your opponent's not careful and if you can see the advantages, go for it and don't think twice, and basically, yeah, just attack. Otherwise, this other Burning Greymon is great for control, deleting smaller stuff in the early stage of the game if you need to, but otherwise, you just want to go all out with your Digimon. Now, in a different situation, let's just say you have like 3 memory to work with and you kind of want to do your Outamon combo, which is always going to be nice for sure. You can, again, digivolve to any Burning Gray for 2 on top of your Takuya, and then you can digivolve for 1 into your Outamon right here. So you'll be at 0 at this moment. Outamon is going to gain extra 4000 DP and extra security checks as well, because it's going to meet a threshold. So Outamon is like super strong, and you can just swing in like that and do lots of damage as well. If you have Atomic Infernos, go for it and play as well if you have more memory to work with and whatnot. So this is like really nice right here. But that's very simple with Outamon. Otherwise, you kind of want to mostly see it in trash. You only really need to see 1 in your hand for the game sometimes. Most of the games, you're only going to be playing 1, really. You don't really get a chance to play a second one. But let's talk about the EmperorGreymon combos right here. Now, with this Takuya, the older one, you basically just need 5 different hybrids. And you definitely want to be choosing all the ones with the inheritables that has really good inheritables. Basically, anything like, extra DP. They might be on deletion effects you might have to put up. You know, sometimes you don't really get to choose, but getting 5 in the trash is actually very, very quick, which is going to be nice. Because now then you can warp and digivolve into either Emperor Grey. If you start your memory at 3, then you can either go into this one to pop something for more control and swing lots of checks with no options activated as well because you have Automon. He gains extra 2k right here, another extra 2k, and another extra 2k. So he's gaining 6k. He's sitting at 17 with lots of checks, no options for that explosive one-turn combo. It has piercing. You can pop something that's 17k or less as well with it. And then if you clear off all your opponent's security, this is when you kind of go for Blitz Omni for game. Otherwise, you go into the other one, which you might need to pay an extra 1 memory to go into, but you can just Blitz, swinging for lots of checks as well. If your opponent blocks it, you gain memory back. You could even gain like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with it. If they do block it, putting yourself all the way back to 4, and then it gives you more plays. You can then either go into another hybrid right here with for 2 costs to go for game and whatnot, or go for Omnimon. And this is why I want to show you guys a bit more extensive plays you guys can do with Gravity Crush and Atomic Inferno. You know, sometimes you might be lacking a bit of memory, and you might want to be at this situation where you just got into this guy for 0 and you want to clear out all your opponent's security. This is why you can play Gravity Crush, gain like 2 memory, play Atomic Inferno. If you have another one, play another one, and then swing for lots of checks, be at 0 again, and then finish the game with Blitz Omni right here too, which is a really, really nice way to sort of approach and sort of aggressively take down all your opponent's security, which makes this deck super fun and super explosive as well. That will wrap up for the deck profile for today. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. We got lots more Digimon videos and content coming with BT12 deck profiles, so be sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on that notification bell to stay tuned. If you guys just can't wait, I want to see early deck lists and first drafts made by me, then definitely join the Avault Club right now as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video, and this is Avault signing out.